How to ruin a sketch. What's up friends, Liron here, and I get asked a lot, how can I ruin my sketches? How can I make them really bad and destroy them when I paint them? So, I'm just kidding. Never get that question, but some of you may have seen my spontaneous sketching from the Akko scene I showed you, I don't know when it was, and you saw how the watercolors really came and destroyed everything because the pen wasn't water soluble. Sorry, it was water soluble, even though it said that it's not, that it's waterproof. Anyway, so I wanted to make a separate video because I was narrating the process, even though I shared only a time-lapse for the original video. So now you're gonna see the entire painting process of this. And I really, again, struggled with, should I publish this, should I not publish this? Because it's not the best, like, result. But I decided to publish it anyway, because I want to show you, like, the authentic creation process and not bullcrap you and just show you, you know, the best results. So it's just an interesting, I think, video and experience in sort of accepting anything that happens, and even if the paint comes and ruins everything. And watercolor is such a, you know, such an unpredictable medium sometimes. You really can't even hope to control it. So anyway, I did want to show that aspect of it. So anyway, this is it. Let's jump straight into the action. Alrighty, so let's get to painting this. I will not be able to show you the palette, unfortunately, but I will mention the paint I'm using, like the exact paint I'm using. So I'm starting with some French ultramarine, and I add a bit of quinacridone rose just to make it a little rosy. I'm gonna use that for the sky. Now I have my test paper here just to check what it looks like. So it looks good. And I'm just gonna put in a very, very weak, gentle wash. Now, I'm actually using a pen that shouldn't be water soluble, but it is a bit, I can see here. So we'll just let it flow and see what comes out of it. Sort of improvising. It's a very wet wash, and so it's expected to make some of the ink run, but I don't know, I really wasn't expecting it in this case. Anyway, it all adds to the whole grace of the sketch, I guess. So now we have the sky. That's all we need for that. I'm gonna let it run together, so I won't let it dry, and I'm just gonna create a mixture for the roofs of the buildings here, the church, excuse me, beautiful roof of the church. For that I'm mixing pyrrole scarlet, sorry, and quinacridone rose, okay, just to create a very happy reddish mixture, like this. Just gonna use that, and the main goal with this one is to just make it darker than the skies, okay, because the roofs here are a bit stronger than the skies. It's really funny, I'm using the Sakura Micron and this one, and it's not supposed to run, which is a bit annoying. I don't know why, like the ink is supposed to be dry and everything, so I really don't know. Really funny because it's the first time no, it's not, you know what, it's weird. I have other paintings here with the very same pen, but anyway, I'm just gonna make it a very loose one in this case, not worry too much about it, you know, gotta use what you can. So I'm gonna leave, I think this one should be really light. I'm gonna paint both of them in the same sort of color scheme. I'm gonna add maybe a bit of burnt sienna to the mixture I used earlier. I'm just gonna not be afraid to smear all of it, okay? Because I see it's already happening. So I'll just show you what I'm mixing here. I'm mixing some burnt sienna, and I'm adding in some of the ultramarine, French ultramarine, to dim it a bit. I'm gonna use this very light mixture for the entire buildings, okay? I'm gonna cover everything aside from the white windows, so I'm just gonna work at it really carefully. Gonna let it all run together. like that. And it's actually really interesting because the black ink makes it a little darker in a way that I favor, because the building should be a little darker than the skies. And so I don't know, I think it's good. It's gonna be a very interesting look, that's for sure. Very wet, washy look. So this really wasn't planning on it smearing so much on me. Maybe I got a fake, like a fake pen, like Sakura, because it shouldn't, the Sakura pen shouldn't flow like that. So maybe it's a fake one, I don't know. But we're gonna just make it a very loose, fun wash. And really, I'm as shocked as you guys at this thing. Just gonna cover, I think, everything here, except for this roof. I'm gonna reserve a different color for that. I have to say, this is a really interesting look. So we can just turn this video into a disaster video. What happens when you get a fake Sakura pen and it ends up running on you. Yeah. It's funny because I have a thought in my mind right now. I'm like, should I just not upload this video? And then it's completely beaten by another thought that says, nah, let's do this. It's gonna be funny. So yeah, so you're gonna see this video for sure. Even though I can say it for myself right now and not upload it, I will upload it. You know what? I may finish things up with a pen again. Who knows? It's like a mixed media fun. We'll have to see. I'm leaving a highlight here for this thing, for this part that goes towards the top. And what's funny is I never painted in this runny, wet style, so it's really first time for me. Anyway, I'm gonna get this area darker, okay? I'm gonna get it a little stronger and darker. I will use some burnt sienna and maybe add some new gamboge, which I have a review for in the Paint Show series. So I'm just gonna use some of that right now. Let's see, looks good. Maybe negate it a bit with some more French ultramarine. Just go for it. Let's see what happens. Good. So now we can let that little thing dry a bit. And once it's dry, I'm gonna leave this. I'm not sure. You know what? Let's go over it just with that new paint. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna let it all dry for a while. There's even a bit of sun now, so I'm just gonna put it in the sun, let it dry, and then I'm gonna go over it with some darker paint, and hopefully it will at least correct some of the runniness of the ink here. Let's give it some time and then get to the next step. Okay, so the paint is dry now, and I'm gonna try and do everything I can to salvage this. I think when I put in the very darks, it may make it look less terrible. And because some of the ink ran already, I mean most of it, let's be honest, I think it will be a little better now. So I'm creating a very dark mixture. I think I'll use some French ultramarine and sepia for this one. I'm gonna try and keep it a little cleaner on the building on the right. So we have this edge here, this edge here as well. This whole line should be darker as well, like this. The windows also definitely getting darker. This left side of the wall is also crucial just to get that effect in. The nice thing about the whole process of watercolor painting, and I will do a video about that just because it's really interesting to me and not a lot of people talk about it. So it's really challenging just to know how to approach a watercolor painting. So a lot of people talk about technique, they talk about wet and wet, dry on wet, all sorts of wet on dry. And techniques just aren't enough, you know. Even if you know the techniques, you're kind of, when you just begin painting with watercolor, you're like, okay, but where do I start? Like right now, what do I do? And it's not an easy question because every painting is a little different. So for this instance, it's just a very interesting discussion to have. But about the darks, this is why I even started talking about it. So when you add the very darks to a painting, it just makes the lights pop more and it gives it better definition. So many paintings look like they're ruined, and this one is definitely quite ruined, but due to the pen running. But the moment you add some darks to it, it sort of helps it settle down properly and just brings out some of the good in it. So this is what I was hoping with, let's get this a little darker. This is what I was hoping with this stage, that even though a lot of it is quite frankly ruined, some of the darks here will give it some more shape, some more definition, and help bring out the best of it, some of it. Now I can see that this entire area is darker, and I do want to bring it a bit to the front, so I will darken it significantly at risk of smearing more of the ink. Okay, I'm gonna use a lot of burnt sienna, a lot of French ultramarine, and just try to bring the entire area to the front. Let's just test this paint I have here. I'm gonna make it a little less, a little more watery. Add a little more. The stage of the like mixing can take a long time, and it's okay. It's really an important stage where you decide what paint you're gonna use, how dark you want to make it, and it's important to pay attention to these things, you know. So it's really an important part of the job. I'm gonna add some blue to it just to make it a little variated along the wash. Many times washes can look a little flat or dead. So when you start playing with the consistency here, I add a bit blue just for the fun of it. When you start playing with the consistency of the paint, it just makes it much more interesting over a large wash. So you see here the blue just gives it a little more interest. It's funny, I look at it through the camera, through the monitor of the camera, and I really can't even tell if it's like horrible or terrible. Or like a bit nice, you know, or a bit genius. I don't really know what to think of it, what to make of it. The first time I ever encounter such a result. But hopefully at least I was able to convey some of the three-dimensionality here, especially you see the light area and the dark. Hopefully that contrast helps. Another thing I think is worth doing is maybe going over all of this building again with a darker wash, maybe a little bit of a yellowy wash, just to, I mean, it's practically half ruined, so we can just do whatever we want. That's the good part with paintings that are, you know, didn't turn out the way you want them to. You can just go over them and try new things, because you really, like, what will you lose? I mean, it's, it's already half gone. So I'm just gonna do that, cover everything, the windows, like all of this area. But the key here is that I'm gonna do that only to the left side, so because I want to create contrast with the right. So I may need to darken it a bit like this. Here are my fingerprints. Just have to lift some of that because this area shouldn't be dark. We got it here. And, oh, you know what? This area, no, it shouldn't. And this one should. So I'm just gonna make it a little darker. Again, varying the mixture I have here. Like this. The roof here has a very strong sort of blue, bluish tint, so I'm just gonna use some phthalo blue and get it in like this. Just give it some of the, I think, Mediterranean feeling it has. So very interesting. I really have no idea what to make of it. I think I will title this video "How to Destroy a Painting." Let me know what you think in a comment. I just wanted to add it in because it's, you know, a part of the sketch, and I didn't want to just throw it off. I think it's an interesting video in any case. So let me know what you think about it. And it's not enough contrast here, so I'm just gonna... I keep getting tempted to play around with it more, even though I know I should probably stop. You know what, let's stop at this point. Let's leave it like that. Let's call it a painting with a lot of character. Oh, just one thing I do want to add, just to make this side darker as well. This. So yeah, now it's really done. I think it's just a very interesting video. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something, and at least sort of learned that it's okay to accept your mistakes and just go with them and own them. So anyway, this is it. Let's wrap up this video. Friends, I want to thank you so much for watching. Here's the lovely final result of this crap show. Really interesting. I don't know, like, what is that? But I just really wanted to put it out there and share, like, this whole thing. If there's one thing you take from this video, is not to order these off of eBay, I guess, because it's like fake. And the older ones I use, and now I can see like the difference a bit in the like, it looks a bit different even. But anyway, I'm not gonna blame it all on the pen. I should have done my research earlier just to test it out. I still wanted to put this video out to show you how watercolor is just a world full of magic and surprises and accidents, and it's okay. This is a part of what happens. I'm literally gonna title this video "How to Ruin a Sketch" or something like that. And this is it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, follow me on Snapchat and Instagram, and subscribe on YouTube as well. I share tons of updates on Snapchat and Instagram, and also here I try to upload now daily, or at least like once every 2 days. I record a lot of material and then I edit it and decide when to publish it. So anyway, this is it. I'll see you again in another video. Thank you for being such an awesome audience. Love you all. Take care.